Luxury Staffing, the podcast by Morgan and Mallet.
Hello there, podcast listeners. On today's episode of the Morgan and Mallet Luxury Staffing podcast, we have Oliver Ruiz. Ruiz? No?
Right.
Ruiz. That's it. Sorry. And he is a luxury real estate seller, or as a realtor, as they call them over on stateside. And he's going to be guiding us through what's happening in Miami at the moment. He's about to start his 30th year selling in Miami. And can you just tell us, we touched on it briefly in a chat just before I hit record, but what's changed most about the high-end buyer, like from when you started in 1996 to the ones today? What's changed most with the high-end buyer?
Well, realistically, back when I started, prices were not what they are today. Miami was a whole lot cheaper than it is today. Miami is not a cheap city anymore. It's very expensive. Today's buyer is more global, highly informed, lifestyle driven. Back in 96, many buyers were just primarily focused on the square footage, the location, the return on the investment. A lot of second home buyers. Today's buyer is a whole lot different. They walk in already knowing the building. See, I do mostly condos. The developer, the floor plans, and even the resale history if it has any. So today's buyer through the internet is able to find out more information than ever before about a single property. I do also sell homes mostly on the water in Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, for example.
Interesting. Right. Yeah, I've written content about what is it called? Coral Gables. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, Coral Gables. I used to own a historical home in Coral Gables that was built by the founder of Coral Gables when he was building the Biltmore Hotel. That home had a tunnel. It was gorgeous home, and I was very fortunate to have been able to buy it in 1990. At that time, I paid $550,000 for it, and I turned around and sold it a few years later for $1.2 million.
Wow.
That was back in 92, 93, 94.
Yeah.
Now,
oh my word.
Yeah, prices now are totally different. Coral Gables is now compared to what Beverly Hills is in California. Coral Gables is fantastic. It's a great place to live.
What? And I guess that sale got you started into real estate, right?
Yes. Yeah,
it's super.
I started in 1996, and it's my second career.
Amazing. So for listeners who don't know Miami well, could you paint the picture of luxury Brickell and downtown today? Like, who lives in the penthouses and the trophy units, and what's drawing them to those places?
Well, let me say something before I answer your question. Let me be very clear. Miami is a very safe city. There's a lot of, people, first thing they come is, how safe is Miami? Miami gets a lot of bad publicity. Miami, I have been here for 66 years. I've never been robbed. I've never, so I want to make it clear that Miami is a great place to live. Now, what has changed from 1996 to now, and I live in Brickell. I started living in Brickell when I started making my business in Brickell in 2002. At that time, I was part of the Brickell Homeowners Association. There was only one building and one restaurant. Now today, there are 50 restaurants, there's shopping, there's clubs. Who's buying them? Hey, you take a look at Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin moved out of Chicago, brought his entire company to Citadel, and changed Brickell altogether because they brought a lot of money into the Brickell area. Because to them, Brickell was an affordable place to live. Now, Brickell is known as Miami's financial district.
So in Brickell, like, so you talked about the Ken Griffiths is the hedge fund manager, isn't he,
That's
or
correct.
owner?
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So he's one of the like key, well, one of the like the first movers, I guess, who brought down all his business to Brickell,
Right.
and is one of the attractions. You said it's incredibly safe, and you said Brickell it has a huge financial community there. Is it the tax advantages Miami offers or Florida offers? Is that one of the reasons they're moving down there?
Well, first of all, this for us is taxes to begin with. Florida has less taxes than most of the states in the United States. And I'll talk about downtown Miami in a minute because downtown Miami is changing drastically as well. Brickell is a walk-only community, not very large, but you walk everywhere. One of the things that I enjoy living in my building, for example, is that I just take the elevator down. My wife and I can go to eat, we can go shopping, we can go walking, we can do whatever we want. We can take a shuttle. It's very centralized. Brickell is a very young area as well because most of the folks that are in the financial business are younger people. So
Yeah.
I enjoy being around younger minds and certainly much brighter minds. But Brickell is very exciting because now, for example, they're building 100 stories tall buildings now and was selling. And you're talking about people with a lot of money. What was selling are the buildings with brands, Dolce Gabbana, Ciprian, Baccarat. Those buildings are selling quickly because people want to be attached to a brand and the services that brand provides.
Amazing. So tell me about what were you saying about Dolce and Gabbana and the other brands? Like they are partnering with the condo developers. Is that right?
That is correct. And they're building a 100-story tall condominium right on Brickell Avenue.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. And I guess it's like an extension of the D&G brand and the other luxury brands that are partnering, right?
That is correct.
Wow. Okay. And at the top of the market, the multi-million dollar units, like at the Waldorf Astoria, Aston Martin residences, who is that buyer? Who are we talking about when we think about these buyers?
Well, first of all, you got to take a look at the new Waldorf Astoria building. It's designed totally different. It's like cubes, and it's also going to be 100 stories tall. And the cheapest studio in the building, without any view, is $800,000. Who is the buyer? The buyers today are coming from everywhere, all over the world are coming to Miami, and they want to have a place in, as I call it, paradise, a place in the sun. And what's happening downtown Miami today, for example, I have a beautiful condo for sale next to the Waldorf Astoria. There's going to be another building next to it called the Delano. That's going to be another 100-story tall, expensive building. So they're trying to make downtown Miami also to compare to Brickell, a walkable area where you have everything within a very short distance. But who is the buyer? People with a lot of cash, people with a lot of money, people who want to enjoy the lifestyle, the Miami lifestyle, as we call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you said international buyers, is there a nationality that is predominant?
Well, depending on the building. For example, we have buyers coming from everywhere. From Europe, we're having people from the Great Britain are coming. People from Spain, Italy. We have a lot of Ukrainians coming to Miami. People from Russia are heavily coming to Miami. So those people are coming in with a lot of money. Matter of fact, we have a Russian developer here in Miami today that built one of the largest buildings here in Brickell and built a commercial office building also in Brickell, where, for example, an office building is over $100 a square foot. So we have developers and buyers from all over. Now, we have buyers from Latin America. As a matter of fact, today there was an article on Realtor.com about Colombia. The way that Miami's economy evolves, it evolves around the Latin American governments, because all of these countries are having problems. And what do? Boop, the people take their money out of the country and they come to Miami because they want to have a place.
Amazing. Wow. That is like seen as a safe haven.
Yes,
A bit like Monaco.
it's a safe investment. That for example, you buy today, and prices go up, and they're increasing, and we have a building downtown that was built over a very famous architect, Sarah Hadig, who artists, like I'm trying to think of his name, but David, the soccer player, has a place there, and a lot of people with they want to see their yachts parked across the street in the bay.
Don't we all? Hey.
Yeah.
All right. So, how much of your high-end business is primary residence versus second or third or fourth homes?
Most of my business are there's a lot of in Miami used to be a seasonal place to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. Now Miami is a year around. It's a place to live all year round. So there's no such thing as season. People used to come here in the winter. They still do come here in the winter. There's a lot of New Yorkers who come to Miami during the winter. People from Chicago, for example, Boston. They want to get away from the cold and come to the warmth of Miami. And so, but most of the buyers that are buying today, it's a pied de terre. It's a second home. Some of them are third homes. They're third homes. See, Miami is the hub to Latin America. It's the hub to all the entire world. So they want to have something here, which is a shorter flight. It's a shorter place to get there. And then, there's so much to do here. I mean, you got F1, we got the boat show, we got Art Basel, we got sports, F1.
Yeah.
We have everything. So, Art Basel, for example, they come from the wealthiest people from all over the world. Art Basel is one of our greatest functions throughout the month of December here. I mean, they come from all over. We have big parties, clubs. I mean, it's incredible.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I think you've got David Beckham as well.
David Beckham, that's who it's David. David Beckham lives in 1000 Museum, downtown Miami.
Yeah.
And so do I'm trying to think of this singing star, and but
Messi.
no, I'm trying to think of his name. He's I'll think of it in a minute. I'm having a senior moment.
No worries, no worries. All right. So it seems like you've got in Miami a lot of international residents and a lot of national residents, Americans as well. And it was originally snowbird communities, but now they're living year round and they're looking, as you said, pied de terre, second, third home. And also just because there's so much going on in the city, they're staying there full time all year round. And also, as you said before, a safe haven. It's a safe place, bit of diversification,
Right.
and lots of entertainment. Yeah. And a lot of your luxury buyers own homes in New York, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, London, and the Gulf. When they're only in Miami for part of the year, how do they actually run the property when they're away? And how often does that go wrong, if it goes wrong at all?
Well, for example, I've sold not only homes, but condos for investment to Brazilian buyers. I sold one on the water not too long ago to a gentleman. They come with an entire team. They have everything. They just don't, they're well prepared when they buy it. I mean, a lot of them ask me to help them with it, which I do, and guide them through a number of things. But most of them come with their team. They bring everybody, people who takes care of this, people take care of that. I mean, who takes care of their yachts. I mean, I help them trying to find a place where to park their yacht. But needless to say, they're very well prepared. They don't hire someone local here. They bring their own. Most of them do.
That's interesting, because I was wondering if somebody comes from Sao Paulo or Buenos Aires, for example, you said they come with the whole team. But how can that team work and live in the United States? Do they sort out all the paperwork for them in advance?
Yeah, they do, and the funny thing is that they buy places for the team to live in. For example,
Interesting.
some of the condos that I sell, that's who they buy it from. For example, they bring their. I mean, I represent a captain of a yacht for a very wealthy Colombian bank. I just sold them a condo that was paid by the banker. I mean, they keep trust in who they have. Now, keep in mind,
Mm,
this many times they ask me for help, and I provide them with a list of responsible and professional people that can help them. But it's a situation where they most of them, the really wealthy, have their own people who take care of their own.
interesting. Okay. And does anything surprise you about the ultra high net worth buyers? Or what surprises you about these buyers most? What surprises you most about them owning in Miami once the deal closes?
Well, everything they want a real good negotiator, which I am. I have all the experience. However, they're not surprised by the price tag because homes on the water. Look, you got Jeff Bezos coming here. Mark Zuckerberg just bought. Uh, Larry Page, Sergey Brin. I mean, all these folks are buying waterfront homes. They want to be able to have the luxury of having their yachts there and security. For example, where Tom, Mark, and Bezos live, they have their own police department. They even have a water police that goes around that island all the time, and it's a very safe place. But you got to have $100 million to spend. It's when I tell them the price, they say, "Can you save me something?" I said, "Sure," and then I go into I try to negotiate a better price.
Super.
But
Good stuff.
again, it's they look at the property, they study it, they're very clever. They want to make sure that what they're buying really is worth it. I mean, you're not fooling them in any way, shape, or form. And they've got lawyers, they got all kinds of people. So that's where experience that I can provide them comes in.
That's interesting. Thank you, Oliver. Thanks for that. And I read on your profile, bilingual English Spanish is core to your business, and the Latin American buyer is a huge part of the Miami luxury market. So, how important are these language skills when you're representing your clients?
The language is extremely important because for example, and you go back to Brazil, most
Hmm.
Brazilian buyers get represented by a Brazilian realtor. People
Okay.
from Russia, Ukraine, they hire a Russian or Ukrainian realtor, which we have many now. People from Mexico. See the thing that I have, and I don't want to toot my horn. The fact is that I'm a very easygoing person. I'm there to do a job and to do the best possible job for that. So I don't have problems with the Colombian people, the Peruvians, the people from Ecuador, Chile, Argentina. I have a lot of Argentinian clients. They don't use Argentinian realtors. They call me. I've sold. I must have back in 2009 when the Miami market went down. I was the broker of a company that was owned by two Argentinian brothers, very well to do, and they called every friend of theirs in Argentina, and they were buying 10 condos at a time for investment.
Wow.
So
Wow.
matter of fact, I speak with most of my Argentinian clients on a daily basis. They're all in Argentina, and they're not easy to please, and they're tough. But let me say this to you: I again, that's where the experience comes in. They know that I do things and I do things right, and they're very happy.
I'm just going to switch now for a second.
Sure.
And cuando estás hablando con ellos, ¿usas español muchas veces o solo un poquito o solo cuando lo piden? al revés? ¿Estás
La
normalmente hablando en inglés?
La mayoría de ellos that talk to you in Spanish, mayoría de ellos me hablan en español, y yo le hablo en español. Y prefieren que tener a alguien con su misma lengua, su mismo
Of course.
vocabulario.
Yeah. 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 It makes sense. I've seen it happen like a million times before. Just in commerce, you just feel so much more relaxed when somebody speaks your own language and they speak it well as well. It just makes a world of difference.
You know,
So yeah, totally.
the problem that I am encountering as someone in Miami, for example, I was the president of the Miami Association of Realtors in 2010. I ran the association at that time with 70,000 realtors. I was the president. What I find now that a lot of the realtors are of some of these nationalities are not that professional and do it only for the money. They don't do it for the well-being of their client. So that's one of the things that as a professional of 30 years, I'm encountering now is depending on where the property is. For example, you talk about Coral Gables. Most of the realtors on Coral Gables are very professional. And you talk about Sunny Isles or Aventura, the worst. So
Oh gosh.
it's tough. It's tough dealing with some of these realtors here today. But they speak the same language as the buyer, and it makes it easier. But are they getting the best deal and the best representation? That's the only thing that concerns me.
That's interesting because it brings me on to the next question. You mentioned you've got a network now, and it seems like, well, you said you've been here, you've been in the industry long enough to spot the best people, to see those ones who've got the best interest, the most professional ones.
Right.
And how do you decide who's good enough to refer to your clients? And what does it take to earn a spot on that list?
That's a tough question to answer because Miami has a lot of poor people doing services. So in order to get a spot on my list that I can refer them to, they have to be top of the line. I don't I there's things that I just don't get involved in, things that I don't refer. But when I do refer someone, my client can rest assured that they're getting someone who is responsible and will get the job done. And certainly someone who's going to be there because in Miami, they take 10 jobs at the same time. They can't be in 10 places at the same time. You
Understood.
got to be very careful who you.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes complete sense. So, Oliver, could you walk us through your favorite recent high-end deal? Not necessarily the biggest, but one perhaps where your experience made a real difference for the client.
I have a gentleman who is born in Spain. Now he's into crypto and he has his own bank in Monaco. Traveled down to Cancun, Mexico, and has a girlfriend there. So what did he do? He had his yacht shipped, brought over to Mexico to Cancun so he could use it while there, because now he's spending a lot of time there. However, he comes to Miami for the sole purpose of relaxing, enjoying Miami, the beach, boating, and shopping and eating. And that's it. Now, what was so tough about it? I sold him a penthouse in the trying to think of the building in Brickell that was fully furnished. And so we had to get an inspector to go in there and make sure that everything, because it happens that the seller was from Spain as well. So
Wow.
that having an inspection team that came in and inspected the unit to make sure everything worked and everything was in prime condition before he took over, because he didn't want to do a thing. He just wants to come in, get on a plane, and come to Miami, go to his apartment. And again, that's He's got a home in Monaco. He's got now a home in Cancun, and now got a home in Miami. So
Wow.
he got 3 homes. But Miami is his favorite place to come to. Aside from Monaco, I'm sure, but there's a lot more to do here than Monaco.
Yeah, yeah, it's known. Miami is the city, one of the cities of entertainment, and yeah, that's why it's one of the reasons it's probably so famous. Now,
By the way,
final question.
I meant to tell
Go
you,
on, sorry.
when he came here, and I showed him, gave him the information on this condo. He had already done his work on it, and he said to me, "This is what I want to pay for." So he was prepared.
Yeah,
And one of the things that we had to do, even though they talk about a lot of the crypto in Miami and this, uh, people in Miami only like 2 things: either cash or mortgage. Crypto is still up in the air. Okay? So it's not something that every seller.
yeah. And how did he get a? Actually, no, I'm not going to ask how he got around that. That's we're going off topic, and that's his thing. So you said that the buyer, he said, I want it, and I want it for this price.
Right.
Did you manage to get him that price?
I got it, but even lower.
Good stuff,
I
Oliver.
saved them on his budget.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Right then. Last question, sir. Looking ahead 5 years, where is Miami's luxury market heading? And yeah, first that one, and then I'll go on to the follow-on question.
No, you know what? I'm 76, and I tell the men upstairs that I want to be here to see the buildings like that are going up today finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much excitement in those buildings that are coming up now. Because this is the brands, these big brands are getting involved in Miami, and there's a reason for it. Because Cipriani or Dolce Gabbana or other brands like Baccarat, this is their first one here. I mean, they just don't go anywhere. So this is like a test market for them. So these are just exceptional properties. And you talked about the Aston Martin. I was just there the other day with clients from Philadelphia. They can't stand the cold weather anymore. They want to come to Miami and they want the water. So it's the excitement of these new buildings, what they're going to look like. They're changing what they're going to be offering, the amenities, the restaurants, everything that's done for the buyer. The buyer doesn't have to do a thing. They don't have to leave the building. They have everything in the building. So it's that part of the business is just so exciting. And again, the building, for example, Dolce Gabbana is on Brickell Avenue. The higher floors get a bay view. But Aston Martin, right on the bay, Dolce, at the Waldorf Astoria, the bay across the street in the park, across the street. It's you get up in the morning and I mean I just sold an apartment over at the Icon Brickell, which is one of the it was built in 2008. It's still one of the prime buildings in Miami with views. I mean, you talk about a Brickell Key, and they're building a building there now that the starting price $5 million, and it's already 70% pre-sold.
Wow.
It's the Mandarin
Wow.
Oriental, and it's already 70% pre-sold. There's some of these buildings where the cheapest unit, a 2-bedroom unit, are now $3.5 million. That's the kind of price these units are getting, and there's
So you
people
think
buying
it's
them.
gonna, and then in the next 5 years, you think it's just gonna continue
It's going
booming?
it's going to blow. It's going to blow all of this off the water. It's incredible
Wow.
here. I mean, Miami is a special city. To me, I've been here 60 some years. It's a special city for me. I love every time I land at Miami International, I get the chills. I'm home and I love it here.
Awesome. Good stuff. Now, final question. If you were buying today at the top end of the condominiums and the or the waterfront properties, where would you put your money?
Well, certainly Miami Beach and Surfside, Sunny Isles. A condo in Sunny Isles is $10 million. Yep. So
Wow.
you've got the all the brands in Sunny Isles. Those have a beach component. You just walk out of your condo, you're on the beach. Now,
Wow.
Mount Harbor, those are the places to buy if you're a zillionaire. If you're just a regular human being, where would you buy? Downtown Miami is the next hot spot because downtown Miami is going to be in last year property values went up 31%. Yeah, because what's coming now downtown Miami is going to blow everything out of the woodwork because what's being built there is all luxury. I've got a condo in downtown Miami where the condo by through the HOA, the homeowners association, has a beach component. You can just call up and say, "Look, I want 2 chairs at the beach today." They get you on a little bus, they take you over to the beach, you spend your entire day at the beach, and you come back to your condo. The
Fantastic.
amenities that
Wow.
are being provided by some of these condos are incredible. I mean, you live like a
Yeah.
king.
Amazing. Wow. All right, Oliver, I've got to finish now. Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't? Anything that you'd like the listeners to know?
Again, as I started, Miami is a very, very safe city. Don't be scared of all the stuff that's going around. Miami is safe, a great place to be, a great place to enjoy. And if you're looking for real estate, give me a call. I'm happy to help you.
What website or how can they contact you? Good point.
Yeah, my website is www.oliversellsmiami.com. And
Super.
my phone number is area code 305-984-4875. Now, I am a 24/7 realtor. I always answer my phone. No one goes without having a return phone call. No
Amazing.
matter what
All right.
part of the world they are. I mean, I get calls from all around the world every day.
Super. Right then. Well, I'm going to wrap it up now, Oliver. You've been an absolute superstar. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this podcast. And for our listeners, you can find more at householdstaff.agency. And you can find out their jobs if you are looking to become a housekeeper, or if you're a client, you can look for, you can get in contact with our recruiters and we'll get you a housekeeper, butler, and any profession, chauffeur, anything you need. Just give Morgan and Mally a call or fill out the form there. And for our listeners, you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. If you just hit subscribe and like, we'll be very grateful for that. And once again, thanks for listening. And thank you very much, Oliver. You've been an absolute star.
And so have you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Oliver.